Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Bem-vinda, bem-vindas to my wonderful Brazilian friends. I will try to speak slowly so our translator doesn't suffer too much. It's so wonderful to have you all join me. So once again, to just warn you, our electrical system is a little wonky this afternoon, evening. And if things go as well as I'm hoping, so far we're doing pretty good. We should be able to complete this, but thunder and lightning is passing through, and the power of our electricity is turning things on and off. So let's see what's going to happen. But anyway, I'm here. I wanted to share with you a book that I've been working with, and I must say I didn't get even halfway through, and I have 11 pages to share. So to let you know that it's quite a complex thing that this gentleman is offering, Rick Hansen. The name of the book is Neurodharma, and it is really wonderful to see the research, the scientists researching the brain in coordination with all of these great meditators from all of these different traditions. And they've come up with the validation of the work that we do. And it's very helpful. At one point, he says in his presentation, he said, it's really helpful to hear this repeatedly, because the thing that really makes the difference in the training of the mind, because it's very much, although he doesn't use those words, and I'm going to mix things up according to my what I've been trained in, and the Tibetan Buddhist concepts, and the way he's woven them in. This fellow has done a fair amount of meditation himself, you can tell. So let's explore this together. It's really wonderful. The first quote that I took, I thought was really helpful, because it says the way this fellow recognizes great sages and teachers. He said there's 7 things he looks for. First of all, they're mindful, they're thoughtful people. Secondly, and for me, the most important part, is they're kind. They're kind. Yeah, I always question if I see someone who is presenting the Dharma and does not behave in a kind way, then I figure they really, more than anything, they need to get that one. Number 3 is they live with contentment and emotional balance, even through the hardest times. Now, this is also a way for us to look at ourselves and our own development. That's really how I looked at this. I thought, yeah, that's an interesting one. That really shows the degree to which you understand how deep have you touched into to your awareness, to your open awareness. They are whole and authentic. They're not trying to be something else. They're not trying to pretend that they're anything. They're simply authentic. They're present here and now. They speak of feeling connected with everything. And then something that I've seen with some of my wonderful teachers is the light shines through them that does not seem entirely their own. In other words, it's bigger than just the body that they are inhabiting. So one of the things that from this point, this fellow, Rick Hansen, invites us to engage with him in a certain way to understand that when we're talking about the Dharma, now he, of course, is talking about neuroscience and the Dharma, but it's the same. Ultimately, these thoughts, these ideas, these concepts, these practices are beyond science and logic. The words are loose, metaphorical, and can be poetic, because in order to access the deepest levels of the mind, we have to go beyond conceptual language. We have to go deep into experience. And experience, the deeper you go with mind training, the less words there are. There is only presence. So What must be happening in your body so that you stay centered when things are falling apart around you? What changes in your brain can help you to always be compassionate and strong when others are being hurtful or threatening? What do we need to do? What is the underlining, and he calls it the neural basis for engaging life without any sense of craving, without any sense of greed, hatred, or delusion? How are we going to do this? This is his question, and it's very much the question of Dharma teachers. How do we do this? Well, we're going to go through a number of different pointing outs that he gives, a number of different practices, and I've written them up so that I can engage with you, so that I could guide you in these practices. So he admonishes us. He said, just realize that even in the early stages, now many of you have encountered the Dharma through the dance and have found in just our 3-day training, you come in on Friday, we dance all day and talk Dharma. Saturday, Sunday, we do our presentation. And even in these 3 days, we found a transformation occurring. And he says in their studies, what they have discovered, that is even in the very early stages of these practices, there are benefits for everyday well-being and effectiveness. This is something that they've discovered with their machines, and this is something we've discovered with our dancing bodies, even in the early stages. So what he's saying is the ultimate possibility, and according to his teachers and his experience, is the complete liberation of the mind and the heart, the highest happiness, the most sublime peace. This knowledge is motivating. Now, this is what I was trying to say. When your practices are actually changing your brain, you're more likely to keep doing them. And again, he tells us, he repeats again and again, do the practice, do the practice. That's what's really going to change things. It actually changes things physically. So in the book, and I didn't bother taking notes of all of the scientific names for the different parts of the brain that are stimulated through these practices. But believe me, they are there. So they are doing these tests on meditators, and it wasn't only Tibetan Buddhist meditators. He also was working with Christian meditators, Sufi meditators. He had a whole list of different beings, different modalities of spirituality that demonstrated the same kinds of transformations. Now we're talking about literal physical transformations in the brain that they have discovered through these practices of meditation. So we're going to do a practice just for the moment of focusing on the breath. So please, if you wouldn't mind engaging with me, focus on the breath. Close your eyes. Just let sounds and sensations, thoughts and feelings pass through your awareness. Be with the experience without resisting or holding on to them. Now, for a moment, focus on whatever disturbing issue you have in your life. Do you have a health issue? Do you have a job issue? Do you have a neighbor issue? Do you have a relationship issue? It doesn't really matter. Just be aware of the thoughts you have about it, the emotions related to it, and see what happens when you think about it. Do you tighten? Does worry arise, irritation, sadness? It's really okay. Whatever you're feeling, just let it flow by. If there's a sense of overwhelm, go back to focus on your breathing. Okay, now we're going to shift our attention into exploring the body. So now let your body soften. Let your feelings flow. If they're intense, feel like they're leaving you now, like a little cloud each time you exhale. And shift the focus now. Shift the focus to what feels good. What are you grateful for? Who do you love? Have some self-compassion for your situation and inhale all these good things into yourself and allow your body to relax. Allow your body to relax. Now, I want you to do some movement with me that expresses Tara's qualities. And when you do the movement, I want you to feel as deeply as possible what happens, okay? So the first concentration that I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to stand up myself because I really enjoy feeling my body. Okay. So now, any of you who have danced with me have heard me say repeatedly, feel it in your body. Feel it in your body. Now, interesting enough, that line has been in this book, it crops up all over the place. So what I want you to do is just raise your hand up and say, all victorious. All victorious. Now, feel this in your body. Feel that your entire body is demonstrating that whatever it is that you think is trying to pull you down in any way, shape, or form, emotionally, physically, it doesn't matter. You are victorious over this. All victorious. All victorious. Do you feel it in your body? When we are dancing the qualities of Tara, this is what I invite you. Feel it in your body because it transforms the very neurons of the brain. This is what this fellow keeps telling us over and over again. So I want you to try another one with me. Invincible courage. Feel it in your body. Invincible courage. Say it out loud. Invincible courage. Invincible courage. Does it change? Yes, it changes. And according to these teachings, according to this guy, they have checked it out and discovered it changes things radically. And it builds different parts of the brain that allow you to relax into the moment. Let's see what else I took. Here's another one. Joy and laughter. Try it out. What happens? Every molecule vibrates with this. It vibrates with this. Yeah, every day. Try to do the practice every day. Try. Because it really makes a complete change. Now here's another one. Okay. Serene peace. Serene peace. Feel it in your body. You own this. This is you. Serene peace. We are a million different things. We are a million different things. And as it turns out, we can choose the direction that we want to go in. So choose to demonstrate the qualities of Tara. Okay, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed that little interlude. I really wanted to do it together with you, especially because, of course, when we're dancing, the transmission that you receive from the teacher is from the teacher's body, as well as the words. But it's up to you, the degree to which you can concentrate. Now, I know when you first engage with our dances, they're a little complicated, not too bad, but if you follow along, you can definitely achieve a transformation of consciousness. It actually changes the very neural patterns of the brain. And according to this guy, the more we do it, the more the neural patterns are changed until we can completely wipe out. We can transform. I prefer that word. We can completely transform whatever holds us back, whatever negative impressions that we have of the world and the way of meeting the world, the way of meeting the moment, that instead we go back to those 7 qualities of awakened beings or of teachers that inspire us. That all of that is ours if we want it. So he recommends It is fine to slow down, step back, and focus on whatever feels stable, comforting, and nurturing. Approach each day as an opportunity for practice. It's a chance to learn about yourself. So you think about this when you wake up. Of course, I invite you to set the motivation. This is something else that comes up in his teachings, in his transference of information. Is one of the most powerful things we can do. One of the most powerful things we have to do is we have to set the intention, determined what do I want to accomplish? So prayer of motivation, wisdom, compassion, skill, power. We want to accomplish these things. So he said, wake up and alert yourself that here's an opportunity for practice. We're here, we're alive, we have this human body, we have some time. This is going to teach us about ourselves and what our potential is. So establish the intention to practice each day. And when you go to sleep, appreciate how you practiced that day. It doesn't matter. It's not about number of mantras. It's not, what it is how did you meet the moment? Were you present in the moment, or were you totally scattered and freaked out about what was going on?
Prema,
And yeah.
can you speak a little slow for the translation?
Yes, poor translator. I'm sorry, Xenia. I'm trying, but I get excited about this material. Yes, I'll try to slow down. Thank you, Miri, for reminding me. Okay. So the next section that really sort of caught my attention was we are constantly thinking about something that's wrong, something that's missing. So this is, he's talking about attachment. No, I don't want to get into too much of this. Because we are the ones who make much of our own suffering. We're also the ones who can make it come to an end. Yeah, here we go. Because it leads us to the noble truths. The Four Noble Truths, when Shakyamuni Buddha had his big aha moment, and he couldn't, he felt like, how am I ever going to communicate this? He wandered off for some time. He went from Bodh Gaya to Varanasi. And in Varanasi, in the deer park there, he met 5 disciples, and he gave the teachings of the Four Noble Truths. The first noble truth, he determined that we are not happy. We're very often dissatisfied with our lives. So this is the issue. That's number 2. What is the first is something wrong? And he said, yes, we're suffering. The second one is, well, is there a way out of suffering? Yes, there is, number 3. And this was the one that I just found it so interesting, the way he described this. When suffering falls away, what is revealed is not a big blank, but a natural sense of gratitude, good wishes for others, freedom, ease. And over time, these mental states are hardwired into the nervous system. He called it neuroplasticity, which is the capacity of the nervous system to be changed by the information flowing through it. This means you can use your mind to change your brain, to change your mind for the better. So this was the noble truth number 3. Who's going to do this? How are we going to do this? We're going to do this. And number 4 is the Eightfold Noble Path. In other words, examine your life and see where in your life are you going against the grain of awakening, and where in your life are you uniting with your potential. He says, after just 3 days of this kind of training, the prefrontal regions behind the forehead exert, I love this, it's like, really, how can I understand this? After 3 days of training, prefrontal regions behind the forehead exert more top-down control over the rear part, the cingulate cortex. Consequently, greater control means less habitual preoccupation with one's problems. A couple of months training, and you develop greater top-down control over the amygdala. The amygdala reacts like an alarm bell to anything that's painful or threatening and triggers the neural hormonal stress response. So getting more control over it reduces overreactions. Okay, so how in the Eightfold Noble Path, when we say, how do we bring this about? How do we bring this transformation of consciousness about? And we are invited to pay attention to our lives, pay attention to how we think, how we speak, and how we act. Because very often what's being described here is we have patterns of behavior that they are the result of an automatic response in the brain, the fight or flight response. And truly, this is the fight means we're going to get up there and push something away. This is aggression. And all of us experience aggression. When something occurs that threatens what we think is our well-being or the well-being of the people that we love, which also has to do with our well-being, when anything threatens it, the reaction is automatic. And the activity, we either get verbally abusive, we might get physically abusive, definitely we get mentally abusive. In other words, we judge whoever or whatever is going on in the most negative fashion. And because of that, the brain becomes unstable, the mind becomes unstable. Every time we move away from unity, when we move away from the understanding of interconnectivity, when we move away from acting in that way, then we are diminished. And this is all because of habit. So in order to break these habits, we must engage in different activity. Okay, did you get that, Zane? Wow. Anyway, I get excited because here it is. These trainings grow more tissue in the hippocampus that helps us learn from our experiences how to calm the amygdala down. So in other words, these trainings, these practices that we engage in, what we call the Dharma, the way we place our mind is going to completely alter the tissue in the brains. So we learn from our experience. People produce less of the stress hormone cortisol when they are challenged. They become more resilient. Meditators with years of practice have thicker layers of neural tissue. This supports function such as planning and self-control. They also have more tissue in the insula, which is involved with self-awareness and empathy for the feelings of others. The frontal lobe is strengthened, and this important part of the brain that helps you pay attention and stay on track with your goals, the area of the brain which connects the right and left hemisphere. This suggests a greater integration of words, images, logic, and intuition. Now remember, just let the words flow. Just let the words flow. You don't have to write them down. You don't have to memorize them. Just recognize the broad picture, which is these trainings, and we're going to do one in just a few minutes. These trainings assist us in opening up the potential of the brain, the potential of the body-mind, and that alters consciousness so that we engage with awakened awareness. Okay, let's see what else we've got here behind all these words. Okay. Meditators with a lifetime of practice demonstrate remarkable calm in the face of pain, greater resilience, and a sense of well-being. Change your mind, you can change your brain in a lasting way. The brain takes its shape from what you rest your attention on. Cultivate a sense of loving, wholeness, nowness, and you weave these qualities into your nervous system. Okay, so I'm going to invite you. Now, he has what he calls the 7 steps of awakening. And these pattern different levels of achievement of meditation as you engage in Vipassana and Shamatha. So I want you to experience from his language. So I'm inviting you to sit with your back straight as much as possible. Close your eyes. And the first thing that we're doing is we're going to engage with our breath just to obtain a steadiness. So I invite you to inhale radiant light and exhale and let go of any physical tension in the body. As you inhale, inhale radiant light. And as you exhale, exhale any tension in the physical body. Inhaling radiant light, exhaling any tension. Now inhaling radiant light, exhale any emotional tension. Don't try to think about what kind of emotional tension you have. Just give the deep mind the command. Let go of emotional tension. Inhaling radiant light, exhaling, and like a little cloud, your emotional tension just passes away. Inhaling radiant light, exhaling emotional tension. Inhaling radiant light, exhaling mental tension. Let go of any mental tension. Don't try to figure it out, just let it go. Inhaling radiant light, exhaling all mental tension. Now, place your hands on your heart and think about someone that you care deeply about, someone you really love, a family member, a friend, pets. It's really okay. Try focusing on feelings of compassion and kindness for them. Stay simple. Focus on feelings. Be aware of the one who cares about you. Really feel yourself being cared about, appreciated, liked. It doesn't have to be a current person. It can be someone in the past. But really get into the feelings of being loved. Other thoughts may come and go, just let them pass. Keep focusing on the warm-heartedness. It's helpful if you just select one person. And as you breathe, feel the love. Feel it flowing in and out of your chest, in and out of your heart, resting in love, and sink into this love as it sinks into you. Now feel a sense that this moment you have enough of what you need. You have enough air to breathe. You're safe in this moment. You're free from fear from this moment, free from irritation. Feel a sense of peace and gratitude for what you've been given. Simple feelings of gladness, any other positive emotions. Just let go of disappointment or frustration, stress. Just breathe it out. Rest in a sense of contentment in this moment. As you touch into the feelings of warm-heartedness, lovingness, flowing in and out. Hurts go by, release them as you exhale. Exhale resentment. Inhale ease. Exhale release and rest in a growing sense of love, a sense of fullness, a sense of contentment and love. Aware of the sensation of breathing. Now concentrate on the sensation of breathing in the left side of your chest. Now on the right side of your chest. Then both sides together. The sensations in your chest, widen your awareness of breathing to include your stomach. to include your back, your head, your hips, your arms, your legs, your whole body, a single field of experience. Your whole body is breathing. Remain aware of the whole body. And now include sounds in your awareness. Your hearing and breathing together. Feelings come and go, anything else in awareness. All that you're experiencing, opening to your whole being, all parts of yourself, all the parts of you as a single whole, widening, include awareness, all of you as a whole. Now stay in the present, the sensation of each moment, breathing, your breath continually changing. You're present, letting go, yet remaining alert. Experience, changing, things happening. No need to follow anything, no need to figure anything out. You're simply being. Now, find comfort, a sense of going on, even as there is continual change. Be aware of the continual rising of the next moment. You're right here in the present as it changes, receiving this moment, receiving now, resting at the front edge of now, abiding now, breathing air, flowing in, flowing out, inhaling oxygen, exhaling carbon dioxide. Each breath, receiving and giving. What you're receiving becomes a part of you. What you're giving, a part of everything. Feelings, interbeing, connected with your surroundings, the people in your life, the air and water in the air, the environment, the earth, all of this flowing into you and you flowing into it. Connected with the moon, the sun, all of space, all the stars everywhere. What is happening now in the mind and the body related to everything else, every thought, everything, a wave in the ocean, edges soften between you and everything else, fearless sense of everything, all experiences, passing waves, enduring, peaceful, allness, abide, present, opening to intuition of what might be always unconditioned, not yet formed, always, the moment, ideas about disappear. Let them go, wordless, sense of what might be, unconditioned, distinct, fundamentally from all conditioned mind and matter, intuition, intimation, sense of possibility, spaciousness, stillness, abiding at the meeting of conditioned and unconditioned. What is conditioned, continually changing. Unconditioned, not arising, passing away, eternal, timeless. Let go of thinking, not trying to make anything happen. Time, passing, timelessness. Now come into a grounded sense of this moment. In this body, in this place. Move your feet, move your hands. Your eyes are opening. Fullness, warm-heartedness, breathing fully. You are here. You are breathing. You are all right. You are being at peace. You are changing your brain bit by bit for better or worse. So make this decision. Work with the mind. Work with the mind. So one of the qualities, there are a number of qualities that we are encouraged to cultivate. One of them is concentration, being able to place the mind on something and hold it there. It strengthens. It's one of the issues we need to strengthen. So he reminds us, there must be a change in the neural structure for it to endure. We move on quickly from one experience to another. The way the brain is developed, it's one of the things that you've heard me say many times, is that the brain goes, it's like water running downhill. It goes to the lowest place and it hangs out there. Now, according to the research that's been done, this is normal. This is normal. This is why we have to make effort to change that. So now the questions he asks, he invites us. What do we hope to heal in ourselves? What would we like to let go of? What do we hope to grow in ourselves? We can also do these practices for the sake of others as well as ourselves. When you do a practice such as I just guided you through, if there's someone that you're particularly concerned about, you can imagine that they're sitting in your heart and that the energy that's flowing through your body is flowing through theirs as well. The awakening, the letting go. Studies of mindfulness and related meditations have found that these can alter neural networks for attention, self-awareness, and self-control. Now, this is something I really want you to understand because, well, I'll continue with this line. This is really good, but it doesn't directly strengthen key parts of the neural basis of compassion and kindness. Related but distinct networks handle these things. So this is something that I really want us to understand and to work on. As I journeyed, when I was 8 or 9 years old, 10 years old, the teacher invited us, asked us, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? What's going to happen? And I wanted to be a mother. I wanted to have lots of kids. Or something kept playing in my brain to say, follow the path of wisdom. Well, what is that? You know, in a local elementary school in the Deep South, that word didn't even exist. What does that mean? So from that time, I sought out information about what was wisdom, which meant that I encountered a number of different spiritual paths. There were two sort of cultivations that I had. One was spiritual paths or religion, and the other was spiritual paths art, because art I found was very stimulating when we were talking about what is wisdom, how do we get there? Because it's very evocative, it's poetic, it moves beyond conscious mind and yet into a deep experience that I felt was part of this whole wisdom journey. One of the encounters that I had was with Scientology. I don't know if anyone knows anything about this. For a while. It was very much the rage. It was very much being communicated in the 60s. And so I engaged with them. And indeed, they had a lot of very interesting information. In fact, there was a lot of interesting information around, but the thing that it was missing, and why I ultimately left, is there was a lack of an understanding of compassion. Now, having been raised as a Catholic, having encountered Mother Mary, the goddess of grace, the goddess of misericordia, the goddess of mercy, once you understand mercy, really understand it, then I can't imagine anything more heavenly. I can't imagine anything more spiritual. Teaching a group of children, we were making offerings. And I asked this group, and they were pretty young. They were mostly around 6, but I had a 4-year-old. And I asked them all, well, let's make offerings. Let's make imaginary offerings. So what's the most special thing to you? Let's imagine that we're offering it in the service of the divine. You know, I had explained to them about angels and heavenly beings and teachers and so forth. Refuge on a child's level. Anyway, finally we got around to the 4-year-old. Everybody was saying, you know, my bicycle, I like ice cream, you know, they all had the things that they loved and they imagined offering them. So I asked, the 4-year-old wanted to talk to, so I said, okay, what's your favorite thing? And he said, when my mommy still loves me even when I do something wrong. That really moved me because that is the essence of mercy, the essence of mercy. So without this, no spiritual path had any meaning to me at all, because I had encountered it as a child when I associated with Mother Mary, being a Catholic, and also with the stories of Jesus. Mercy was embedded in those stories. And very much, I couldn't imagine if we were talking about what was the greatest thing on earth, what was the most amazing thing, I couldn't imagine anything better than mercy. So to encounter the Tibetans, whose constant reference is on compassion, constant, every practice that I've ever done with these great lamas, there was always a big focus on for the sake of all beings, for the sake of all beings, for the sake of all beings. We constantly tried as much as possible to use the power of whatever practice we were doing. And some of the practices were extraordinarily powerful when it came to liberating the mind and finding ways to move out of the trap and into the wonder of awakened mind. It always was permeated with this understanding of compassion. So a great number of our practices had to do with that. Let's see now. I think I got to this place here. Yes, warm-heartedness. So when we focus on warm-heartedness itself, its aspects are most experienced in the mind and developed in the nervous system. Compassion-focused meditation stimulates specific parts of the brain involved with the sense of connection, positive emotion, and reward, including the middle orbital frontal cortex, which is behind where your eyebrows meet. Long-term practitioners of loving kindness meditation develop neurological reactions, seeing the faces of strangers in their own face with the sense of you're just like me. They build normal tissue and keep part of the hypothalamus that supports feelings of empathy towards others. Now that's a lot of words to chew on. So let me go through this slowly and carefully. When we practice loving kindness meditation, which we're going to do in just a moment, we develop neurological reactions even when we see the face of strangers. When you see the face of strangers, when you're a long-term practitioner, it doesn't matter whose face you see. You have the sense that you're just like me. And you build normal tissue and keep the heart of the hypothalamus. This is what supports, you keep what supports feelings of empathy towards others. So there's a vast transformation when you do these practices of loving kindness and compassion. What is not compassionate and kind, such as hurt, resentment, or contempt, this can loom large and persistent. This is mind. The brain is designed to be shaped by our experiences, especially those in childhood, especially if they were painful. The trace lingers. This can shadow your days. These changes in your brain are not reversed just by watching your mind. It takes deliberate practice to heal and find new ways of being with others. Let us grow compassion and kindness for others and for ourselves. Compassion is wishing the beings not suffer. Kindness is wishing they be happy. These are forms of desire, healthy desire, pursuing beneficial ends skillfully, being at peace. One way to cultivate compassion and kindness with people you don't know: find good wishes for them as you pass them by. Now, this is something you could do. I often do this in the store. Whoever is lined up in the line waiting to check out, in the checkout line, look at each one and think, how can I help you? What do you need? Let me give you some energy and light and love that you can be happy. Stay with this for a breath or longer if you can, being aware of what's enjoyable and what's joyful and meaningful. Weave loving kindness into your nervous system. Okay, so we're going to do a little practice with this. Let me see. Okay. First, we're going to take a little break. Just a few minutes, 5 minutes, okay? And Miri, if you can bring beloved Tara the music. When we come back, we're going to do a practice, and I will guide you. But for now, 5-minute break, water in, water out. There we go. Okay. Oh, look at all these fabulous beings.
Turn your cameras on too.
Yes, so everybody, please turn on your camera. Pretty please. We want to be able to see you. I want you to be able to see each other. Okay. Now these dances, these practices, these are practices, okay? And they're not complicated. So what please turn your camera on, Gisele, if you can. Maria Elena, Margarida, Estela. Let's see, who else? Leila. Come on, turn your cameras on. We want to see you. Bree, if you can turn on your camera, that would be so good. Yep. Okay. As much as possible, turn on your camera. Because what I want you to do is I want you to make contact with one of the pictures, okay, with one of these Taras as I talk through this. You're going to hold out your hands and imagine that the light is pouring out of your hands, okay? And when I say change, you're going to move to another person. Now, you're not going to know who, and it doesn't matter. The point is not who. The point is that whoever it is, you're going to wish for them whatever it is that they need, whatever it is that they need. You don't think about it. You simply are willing to give it to them. And we're going to do it with the music so that we have the sense of rhythm in our bodies. Very helpful to be guided, okay? So if you want to put your hands up and maybe go ahead and turn on the music. Make contact with the first person. Look at this person and pour your love and light into them, giving them what beloved Tara. Yeah. Lift your hands up. Pour yourself with light to your heart. Make connection with someone in this circle and pour your love and light into them, giving them whatever it is that they need. Hands on your heart. Feel the one you love that we were thinking earlier, the one that you care about. Feel that warmth in your heart. Now make connection with another. These beautiful Taras here. Pour your love and light into them, holding your palms out. Pouring your love and light, one at a time. Wishing them whatever it is that they need. Whatever it is that they need. Hands up. Fill yourself with love. Fill yourself with light. Feel it pouring down your arms into your heart. Bring your hands to your heart. Feel the warmth of love in your heart. Think of how much love there is. Now make connection with another person. Bring your love and light
wherever
into
you
them.
look. Tara, in the faces of your loved ones. Tara, in the people who pass in the street.
Now change.
Tara
Go
in
to
the
another.
brilliant. Tara in the poor. Tara in the wise. Tara in the foolish.
Now to
The
another
world,
phase.
in all its colors, shifting through time, shifting through space.
Change. Another.
Tara,
Hands up. Fill yourself with light. Let the light and love pour down your arms. Take it into your heart. Now find another Tara on your screen and send your love. Pour your love and light into that person, giving them whatever it is that they need. Don't think, just feel,
Mother Tara,
just feel the willingness to
grant
love.
us your wisdom, that we may
Change.
truly understand all of life's experiences, our place,
Send it to another Tara.
purpose, and possibilities. Grant us your
Hands up, fill
compassion,
yourself with light,
that we may never judge others
pouring
harshly,
into you,
either
pouring
verbally or
down your
mentally,
arms,
but always seek to
hands
benefit
in your
them.
heart. Feel that warmth in your
Grant
heart.
us your power, that we may overcome
Preciousness,
all of our
love that we've
negativity
experienced in our
and help
lives.
others to
Take
free
this
themselves
loving
as well.
concern and send it to someone.
Eliminate
Send
our
it to someone
fears,
in the circle.
born of karma and habit.
Pour your love and light.
Grant
Change
us your
to another
beauty,
person.
your
Oh,
grace,
yes.
your skill,
To another person.
that we may be able to uplift and inspire.
One more.
That every breath we breathe, move we
Your
make,
arms,
word we
light.
speak, and thought
light and
things
love pouring
be
into us.
filled with praise,
Gather it into your heart.
gratitude, and benefit.
And now send it to someone. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Okay, let's see, how are we doing? Moving right along. Thank you, Miri, that was great. Okay. So, compassion, it's very important to also cultivate self-compassion. What I recommend when people ask, how do we get past anger? How do I get into forgiveness? How do I work with people that upset me? I say, the first thing is think about your own life. How difficult, how many challenges have you met in your life? How many times have you reacted in ways that were not kind? How many negative thoughts have you had about other people? How many judgments have you had about others? How difficult has it been for you to get past that? How difficult, even now, we struggle with anger. We struggle with hatred. We struggle with negative thoughts about everything. Everything. How do we get past it? Well, these practices, what we just did, what that activity that we just did, just wishing others well, just wishing that they could have whatever it is that they need, that changes our neural network. That changes our neural network. It increases the oxytocin in our bodies and minds. So and we know this. And yet, knowing this, we still can go out of this room or go out of this space, go out of this connectivity that we're having, this joyful, this illuminating connection, and we could still think negative thoughts about people, be aggressive verbally, want to push people away. It's difficult. Life is difficult. So first of all, we have compassion for ourselves, knowing how difficult it has been for us to try to get past our negative emotions. Remember the 7 things that I said in the beginning that were indicative of a being that's worthy of teaching the Dharma, that demonstrates the truth of the Dharma. And one of those is no matter what's happening, you're able to meet it peacefully, to not get involved in the negativity of whatever it is. So this is what we're trying to develop, but think it's so difficult for us. We have compassion for ourselves that life has been so difficult. So now look at this other person who's acting like an idiot, shouting, being critical, being unkind. We know what that feels like, and that it doesn't feel good, that it's not where really, ultimately, it's not the best. So then you really can have compassion because you know what it feels like. It's just like, I broke a bone. I've broken a couple bones, and it's pretty bad. It's there's a whole thing involved, not only with the broken bone and the not being able to walk, but you never are walking again the way you were before the bone was broken. And, it's really difficult. So when I meet somebody who's broken their leg, I have a very deep compassion for that person. I know what they're suffering. It's the same thing when you find somebody is out of control, if they're angry or acting however it is that they're acting. They're not in love. It's so much more interesting to be in love. It's so much more interesting to be kind. Because it feeds our neural network. It increases our capacity. So we want to really be able to do that all the time, no matter what's going on. And we want to wish that for others. It's the first line in Ashanti Deva's prayer, with the wish to free all beings. That's the greatest wish, because we want to be free from the behavior that causes us to again and again fall into despair, depression. It all comes from wrong behavior, of a behavior that does not recognize our interconnectivity and that does not assist us. If we are truly interconnected, then compassion automatically arises. Oh, yes, I get passionate about that. The whole idea. The nervous system is always attempting to stabilize extremely dynamic and interconnected processes to serve the life of the body it inhabits. The nervous system keeps trying to hold on to the patterns of activation that underlie each moment of experience. Even as they keep steady, you can really see this. It produces an ongoing subtle tension that is a form of suffering. Okay, so this has to do with the 4 thoughts that turn the mind. When I invite people to engage in practice with us, the preliminaries are motivation, refuge, bodhicitta. But immediately after that come the 4 thoughts that turn the mind. This information is absolutely essential that we explore. Because if we're going to do this transformation, if we're going to tame the mind, if we're going to train the mind, then these 4 have to be continually brought in before us. The first one is to recognize how exceptional this situation is. To have this information, this is why I say self-compassion, it's difficult for us, but imagine for people who do not have any kind of contact with this kind of information. So they don't know they can change their mind. Most people think that what they think is that they are possessed by their thoughts. It's quite an education, and people don't they don't believe you when you say you can change your thoughts, you can change the way you feel. It takes training, and it takes a certain set of conditions, which we have. So we have to be grateful. We have to really understand that this is an exceptional situation that we're in. We can remember times in our life when we didn't know that it was possible to change the mind, to master the body mind. We didn't know this, and we suffered because of it. So now that we know that this is possible, we're in a much better shape. So we're grateful. But the second thought that should follow this one is how impermanent this condition is. Moment by moment, everything is changing all the time. And ultimately, this body will end in death, which is the big chance, our big chance at liberation, at mental liberation, if we are capable of being present, which we had a wonderful experience of in that first meditation that I read out to you. That guided us deeper and deeper into being present in the moment. And we're going to talk a lot more about this next month when I finish the book, because I can only go so far with you today. But yeah, where was I? Oh, yes. So that's number 2, death and impermanence. The reason that I blanked out for a second, the thing is, when we die, and this again, he brings out in his neuroscience, is where we place the mind is what we experience. Where we place the mind. And we can tell, I mean, here's an example. Right now, there are some drums playing outside, and they're pretty loud. This is something that Minnie and I were not aware of, just how much music celebration goes on in our little village. But I wasn't aware of this because my focus has been so totally on communicating with all of you. But the minute I allowed myself to open to the experience of what are the sounds around me, there it was. Wherever you place the mind, this is what you experience. At the time of death, where you place the mind is very important. So this is where we are continually called upon to not cultivate negative thought. Because if we have a habit of negativity, this is the journey that we leave this body, the next body calls us to its place. So we don't want to go into any negative realm. The third, of course, is karma, cause and effect. It's absolutely essential that we pay attention to just how vast this whole karmic thing is. We are interconnected with everything that exists, which means every breath, every thought, every action, every speech, every word affects every other atom of this creation, and vice versa. Everything that's going on affects us. So karma is not just a one-on thing. It's a total universal situation. And when we engage, we want to keep that in mind. But now the reason I got into this was because number four is the one that's a little difficult to understand, but he lays it out really clearly here, even though he doesn't call it that. The nervous system is always attempting to stabilize dynamic, interconnected processes to serve the life of the body. It keeps trying to hold on to patterns of activation that underlie each moment of experience. Even as they keep steady, you can really see this. It produces an ongoing subtle tension. This is what is called suffering. This is the suffering that Buddhism is pointing out. This tension is not the only thing we experience, but it's part of everything we experience. It's an inherent feature of our lives. While we cannot remove this tension, we can understand it. This will bring about a sense of clarity and calm. If we can accept this property of the nervous system and not resist it, then we don't add suffering to suffering. So let me explain this a little clearer. No matter what is going on, there is no point where everything stops. There's always this movement in existence, breathing in and breathing out. If you stop your breath, still everything is, the blood is circulating, the air is circulating, it's always in motion. So the body mind is always seeking balance. It is seeking balance. And because of this, if we allow it, if we are able to stay in the moment without projections, we will be able to come into a state of clarity and peacefulness. But we tend to jump into the movement. So I had a piece of cake, I want another piece of cake, now I had too much cake, now I have a stomach ache. So that's just a simple example. I went to see my friend, we were talking, the talking wasn't about what I wanted to talk about. So I was getting a little bored. I was ready to leave, but then she started talking about something I wanted to talk about. So inherent in the experience, if you are willing to just ride with it and be present in the moment, no problem. But if you have a projection about the way you want things to be, then you are going to suffer. you are going to suffer disappointment. So that's an important one to think about. Okay. And then after all of this, he says, but you know, if all of this fails, if you don't really know where to turn, what to do, then just go to the love. Go to the love. The first step to changing the brain for the better is to feel what you want to grow. So, what do you want to change? And what resource can you use? What can you do to develop? Is it patience, perseverance, generosity? So he was jumping right into the 6 perfections there. Have a sense of this resource and consider how you could create it as an experience. Watch out for any tendency. Okay, so look for any opportunity to cultivate patience. There's nothing like traffic to keep you, give you the big opportunity. Here's your big patience opportunity, is being caught in traffic. Are you able to keep the mind stable? Are you able to continue loving? Or are you just getting irritated and you just want to push around, run away, not be there? Learn how to use the moment. Learn how to use every moment. Let's see, what else do we have that I want to share? Okay, here's one more meditation that I'd like to lead you in. And then the natural rhythm of the heart is to open, let go, and love. You want to release tension and suffering. This natural flow can be blocked or covered by feelings. So as this decreases, as you stop being projecting, wholeness grows, hindrances are reduced, so is craving and suffering. Mental phenomena, permanent, coming and going. Don't give them power. They're empty, like clouds. Don't fuel them. They may arise. Don't reinforce them. Be mindful. Appreciate what is not hindered. Refocus on whatever could be beneficial, like a sense of gratitude. Be aware of the loving, wakeful aspects of yourself. When you're aware of them, they are naturally. Like this meditation. Here we go. Find a comfortable position in which you can be relaxed and alert. Close your eyes and have a sense of calm strength, letting go of anxiety. Basically, you're all right now. Open into the peace. Be aware, thankful, gratitude, gladness, a sense of enoughness in the moment as it is. Open into contentment. Warm-heartedness, compassion, kindness, a simple sense of being liked and loved, opening into love, flowing in and out, resting in fullness. Be aware of various sensations of breathing throughout your body. Focus on your chest, the multiple sensations of breathing there. In the front of the chest, in the back, front and back at the same time. Be aware of sensations on the left side of the chest, on the right. Now both right and left at the same time. Be aware of your chest as a whole. Let go of thinking. Let go of verbal activity. Expand awareness to include sensation of breathing. in the diaphragm, chest and diaphragm at the same time. Include sensations in the belly, in the lungs and heart, in the torso as a whole. Unified field of sensations experienced continuously. Include the shoulders, arms, hands, neck, head. Be aware of the upper body. Now expand to the hips. Breathe into your legs. Breathe into your feet. Be aware of your upper and lower body at the same time, as a whole, all the body's sensations. Whole body's breathing, peaceful. Sounds and thoughts come and go. Leave them alone. Rest in the sense of the whole body, not needing to make sense of anything. Resting and breathing. A whole body, breathing. The heart opens. We love, releasing tension. A natural flow. Centered in awareness that is unhindered in staying present. Centered in a spirit of acceptance. Centered in fullness, balance. Nothing is missing. Nothing is wrong. Peace, contentment, love. Unhindered by fear, frustration, or hurt. Rest. Carried along by your true nature. Steady the mind. Warm the heart. Open, receptive, awareness. Fullness, balance. Nothing missing, nothing wrong. Growing sense of peace, contentment, love. Unhindered by fear, aware. Any ill will, let it go. Feelings of safety, compassion, being loved. Sense of well-being. Let go of fatigue, let go of laziness, rest in a natural, wakeful energy and clarity. Rest in a feeling of your own good intentions, your aspirations. Let go of restlessness, worry. Let go. Finding a sense of calm, reassurance, your own natural goodness. Any doubt? Let it go. Rest in clear knowing the moment as it is. Trusting what you know to be true. This chair you're sitting on, this breath you're breathing. Trust in your underlying true nature. A natural wakefulness, goodness, peacefulness, stainless, sorrowless, and secure. Do you want a surge of wakefulness? Bring to mind something that carries a sense of intensity, a memory, a time when you were excited, and inhale a little more vigorously, engaging the sympathetic branch of the nervous system, feeling arousing. Sit up straight. Imagine an invisible string on the top of your head, gently tugging you up to the sky. relax, and stay attentive, tranquil, and alert. Gently open your eyes. Look at the screen. Look at all these lovely Taras. Yep. Well, my beloveds,